Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds, we're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Brings me a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that P2 lead, 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to PSGL Season 34, the third social race which has happened in 3 weeks. And we head to a circuit that I really like, actually, on this game, and in many of the F1 games, actually. The Circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix, one of 3 United States Grand Prix this year. Obviously, we've got Miami, and we've got the new one of Las Vegas coming up as well, but we've got Texas in the middle. So, my name is Jess Ball. As always, I'm your commentator, as usual, on a Monday evening at 8 o'clock. And joining me in the commentary box for this week, we have got Connor Moore. Connor, how you doing?
Not doing too bad, and glad to be back into the commentary spirit here on F123 with a social race around Texas.
Yes, thank you for joining me, because obviously you couldn't join us for the last couple of weeks, because lucky you were on holiday. I kind of wish I was going on holiday. I'm having a few days away very soon, so looking forward to that as well. Only got 16 drivers at this moment in time, and I'm just wondering what's going on with the lobby, because we've got a lot of people that retired from the session, so we'll fix that in just a minute. I think you've done something wrong with the lobby.
Yeah, I've accidentally set the camera setting to force cockpit, which I did not mean to do, but here we are. So we're going to have to do a lobby restart. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long, and I'll get that going now.
Yeah, no worries. At least we have got a fix for that. Apologies about that. So the thing that is different for tonight's race is I need to leave the lobby as well, because otherwise there could be some issues. Well, because of the tyre wear glitch that is on the F1 game, where certain cars perform better with tyre wear than others, we'll be running the F1 World cars for the next few social races until the tyre wear glitch is fixed. That's what the PCF1 guys are going to be doing in a few days' time, and the PC social races will do it as well, just so we can still get some racing and we still get some fun, and just to see if it works. It may be a little bit of a workaround until we obviously get the tyre wear thing sorted. EA are aware of it, of the tyre wear issue, and it's on their list of stuff to fix. It's one of their main priority fixes, by the way. So as soon as we know when they're gonna fix it, we will let you know, of course. But until now, we will find out what is happening with this circuit, which was first used in 2012, and Lewis Hamilton won that race. Used for quite many Grand Prix, including IndyCar and NASCAR. They can take a different line compared to obviously what Formula One can do as well. Work began on this track around about the very end of 2010, and that's why it was called the Circuit of the Americas in April 2011. And it wasn't ready on time, so they had to suspend it. It was a bit of worries that it wouldn't be ready on time, but it was ready on time. And there's kind of some similar corners which we'll go through a little bit later on as to how Hamilton designed it to remind people about certain F1 circuit characteristics as well, which I quite like. I think I've been 2 or 3 circuits in there as well. But anyway, we are about to get started, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But what makes COTA so special?
I mean, COTA is it's a brilliant circuit for racing, to be honest. You know, those long DRS zones two of them to be exact. They provide some really great racing, and then also just the twisty and windy corners, especially of the middle and the last sector. They also make it really entertaining to actually watch the quick qualifying laps that you get to see. So it's just a joy, not only to watch but also for the drivers to actually drive themselves. So I think a lot of drivers do actually enjoy this circuit, and well, I definitely enjoy commentating over it because it provides plenty of action, and yeah, it's just a fun time all around. Although I've heard from some of the drivers that on this game with the new handling model that this circuit actually isn't as good as it used to be. Obviously on the last game it was definitely a quite a fun circuit to drive, but on this one, obviously with the handling model being completely changed compared to the old model, now it's a much different experience on not only this circuit but every circuit in the game. So you know, sad that Coda had to take that hit of getting slightly worse because of that, but I'm sure we'll still hopefully have a good race tonight.
Yeah, can I just confirm, are you creating a new lobby? I think the drivers are just wondering.
I'm indeed just trying to invite everyone as quickly as I possibly can so we can get underway.
Okay, I'll just say invites are coming out. I'm just making sure. Apologies about the delay, everybody. That's the thing with Force Cockpit Cam being on. Sometimes it's been left on by default, which is very annoying. But anyway, a bit of information, more information about the track. 5.5 kilometers long, 20 turns, 9 to the left, 11 to the right, 2 DRS zones, which we just talked about as well. And as well as this track, the United States Grand Prix has hosted many tracks since F1 came to America, one of which was Watkins Glen. And then we've had Long Beach. I don't know why F1 hosted in Long Beach, to be honest, because it was quite a narrow track. There were some aspects that kind of remind me of the Monaco Grand Prix as well. Luckily people are doing their best to try and get people in, which is good as well. And who remembers the infamous Indianapolis Grand Prix back in 2005, where only 5 or 6 drivers started the race, which I have to say was a bit frustrating, but then that probably sparked a debate on whether we should have more than one brand of tyre, and I have to say it was kind of I think a bit of a debate going on now as well, because I think there's debates on Bridgestone trying to start the tyre war with Pirelli at some point as well, which I don't know if it's going to happen. That could be quite tight actually, but Pirelli sometimes can throw spanners in the works sometimes in terms of tyre digging away, but again we'll have to wait and see if that comes about next year in 2024. I think it's maybe 2026 that could come about as well. So yeah, I think that'll bring a debate for sure.
Yeah, it definitely will. I did see that news about a new tyre supplier coming into F1. It would be interesting to see. Obviously it's been quite a while since we've had 2 tyre suppliers actually compete against each other in the sport, so it'd be interesting to see if they actually do go through with that. But I don't know, it definitely seems a little bit unlikely since Pirelli's just dominated F1 for so many years now. It would be quite difficult for Bridgestone to get themselves back in, but it would definitely be an interesting twist if they could. So I'll have to wait on and see on that news. And well, also I actually missed the Austrian Grand Prix that just passed, but I did hear that a lot of drivers did get quite a few random time penalties given out at the end for track limits. So it is actually quite interesting to see that they're really tightening up on that in real Formula 1, as you know, obviously over the years you could just absolutely send it over the track limits and not have to worry about it at all, but clearly the FIA really taking it a lot more serious now, and especially at circuits like Austria and Brazil, where the circuit's quite short. I think we're going to start to see a lot more time penalties in the actual F1 itself, but on this game I'm sure all the drivers have it covered. They've all been practicing the track limits of this Texas circuit, and they're ready for the Grand Prix. And I think we're just missing one more driver, and then we will be getting ourselves underway. And you can just throw yourself into spectator mode, and there you go. There is the 16th driver, and hopefully
no, we're missing one. We're missing one driver. I've just forgot to go myself into spectate.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So we have 15 of 22. So just one more driver we're waiting on, and then we will be getting underway very shortly.
And whilst we wait for the lobby to get underway, we got an announcement to make as well. For those of you that aren't aware of what happened on Twitter earlier on as well, we've got a new sponsor as well, which is mainly exclusive for the PCF1 side, but I thought we would partner it, well, pretty much say it here as well. We're now sponsored by a really good company called Chill Blast. They make brilliant PCs. They are infamous of partnering Williams Esports as well, which I have to say were a great esports team. And the PCs they got, the one that's going to be on their giveaway, an AMD Ryzen 5 7600, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070, which is one of the best of the range, and 32 gigs of RAM and 2 TB of solid state storage, which that's better than a normal hard drive. It runs twice as fast, so it's going to be really, really good. So if you want to win and Chill Blast Champions Gaming PC, do !Chill Blast in the chat. Also go on Twitter at PremierSimGL, and also follow at Chill Blast on Twitter as well. And then you can get involved, and who knows, the more entries that you do on that website, the more chance you have of winning this nice PC. So that's a bit of information. I've entered myself, but it'll be kind of weird if I won at the end of the day. But yeah, make sure you enter, and we will put the command in chat throughout the race. So there we go. So I'm kind of happy that PSGL has partnered with Chill Blast. Thank you very much to them for sponsoring PCF1 for this season.
Yeah, it's been great of them to just come in straight away and then actually start a giveaway with that, and giving away a PC like that, I mean, that's worth quite a bit of money. So if you haven't got yourself entered into that, it's very simple to do, just a few steps, and you can get yourself plenty of entries and maximize your chance of getting yourself that PC. And well, who knows, if you're a PlayStation driver trying to move over to the more competitive scene of PC, that could be an option for you if you can get yourself lucky. But definitely go check it out. But here we are, finally. We've got ourselves into the qualifying session. The drivers are not on cockpit cams, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. And we can finally get this qualifying session underway. Again, sorry everyone for the delays. We struggled to find a host, and so I had to do it last second, and obviously completely messed up the lobby settings. But we're past that now, and we're ready for qualifying. So hopefully we see some quick lap times from the drivers here, and hopefully we also see some interesting liveries too, as for everyone it's the F1 World Car, so everyone bring their custom livery to this circuit.
Yes, let's get going with some Formula One, and it's very, very exciting indeed. So let's get to see the livery. So they're obviously not going to be in McLarens or anything like that as well. Nice and sunny day too here in Kota. So I wonder what weather we had in store in the race. Usually when we go there in real life, it doesn't rain that much unless it's like a monsoon. But we've seen it rain in the game. I think we had an intermediate start in the first lobby with James Haddon Timon was taking you through the action on that one as well. Just a quick reminder as well, tomorrow is the last day where you can sign up for PSGL on PlayStation and PC. So if you haven't made up your mind up about signing up, and if you haven't signed up yet, please do. Make sure you do it before it's too late, because we don't want to get any messages on the Wednesday saying, how can I not sign up? Well, you probably would have missed it. So make sure you sign up now. It closes tomorrow, and evaluation races will close on the 5th of July. So you can sign up now, and then you'll have until the 5th of July, which is on the Wednesday, to get the evaluation races in. So yeah, that's just a quick reminder about the sign-ups. And we had a great race last time out in Bahrain, where it came down to, I think, around about 4,000 a second between Kian and Volakongan for the win, and I did clip it on my TikTok if you want to check as well. Matt's got very unlucky. He is in this lobby at the moment. He's now using his full name because he's moved to Parnell Racing. I can't even pronounce his full name, so surely someone from Parnell Racing will be able to help me with that. But yeah, as we're riding on board with who's going to be the first person on a lap. It's going to be hard to tell, isn't it, Connell? Because there's lots of black cars. Because some people are running default liveries. There's one running the Miami livery right now as well, which is quite nice to hear. But yeah, we'll go on board with King, because I couldn't find anyone else as he goes through the S's section, which kind of remind me of the Maggots and Beckett section in Silverstone, which is the real-life Grand Prix, and very, very soon, in about 5 or 6 days' time.
And that should be an exciting one in real life, and well, if last year was anything to go off of, it definitely will be. But we're watching Kian now as he heads out of turn number 11 and onto this long back straight with the DRS wide open. We are going to see so many moves on this straight in the Grand Prix itself, with the DRS being buffed on this new game. So powerful down the straights. So hopefully we'll see plenty of dive bombs into this turn. You can see they've removed the sausage curbs on the exit of that turn number 12. So no more running out wide and completely breaking your car and flying all over the place. You can see OP Mubarak has set the first lap time of the session. He sets the time to beat it to 1 minute 32.6. FBR Stefano goes ahead and beats that by 4/10. And let's see what Kian can do under the new team, Parnell Racing. Can he snatch away that provisional pole position from his teammate Max, who's gone a 32 flat? But Kian goes to a 1:31.8, and he takes that provisional pole position with a couple of lap times now coming onto the board. But that was very fast there from Kian, and currently both of the Parnell Racing drivers in P1 and P2, and I think we're going to start to see a lot more of Parnell Racing, obviously beginning to develop their PlayStation team with two big signings, being Kian and Max, and also I think they've just recently made a deal with Juventus Racing, and Juventus Racing is now the academy team of Parnell Racing. So yeah, Parnell Racing is really trying to push itself into the PlayStation scene. So I think for all of you esports fans, at least the amateur esports, I think you're going to see a lot more of them in certain esports events, and hopefully we do, as they're definitely a very good team on the PC, and now trying to prove that on the PlayStation platform, and currently doing quite a good job in P1 and P2. But you can see most people have now set lap times. So you've got Volakolgan in the top 3 with FVR Stefano right him, Devin 3043 in the top 5 as well, and everyone's setting their lap times very nice. You can see a little bit further down we have the two ET8 guys of Chris and Lifebal, and definitely Mubarak in P10 a little bit further down than he'd like to be. But obviously these are just the banker times that you're getting onto the board. Going to be improving on these by quite a lot as the session goes on. But right now, 4 drivers without a lap time, and that's going to be absolutely crucial for their session. I mean, if you don't get that banker in, it really does hurt your session. So hopefully for their sake, they can get a good lap time onto the board quickly.
As you can see, Riley, who's got the lovely American livery right now as well, which is, I'm glad it's available in the game, of course. Now, some of these drivers have got a lot to prove, because I know some of these drivers would want to be in the top division in PSF1 this season. And placements are due to be announced within probably the next week as well for PlayStation and PC. So everybody has got to show that they deserve it. Of course, they had the evaluation races to deal with over the past few days. Hopefully, nobody has forgotten to do them. And if you have signed up and have forgotten to do them, now's your reminder. Please do it, because otherwise your sign-up will be null and void, and you do not want that, as Rudy has invalidated his outlet right now. Quite a few people in the pits. Now, talking of strategy in terms of the tyres that people will be having at this moment in time, it can vary on this circuit. Soft to mediums is possible, but they do lose their optimum pace quite quickly, around about 6-7 laps. So ideally, obviously, like last game, medium to hard will probably be more ideal, with the hards being, I think, the best choice at the start of the race, so you can have push quicker on lower tanks of fuel on the mediums a bit later on in the race too. And I kind of like when you go onto the mediums later, it doesn't take as long to warm them up. It doesn't take as long to warm up overall with they have the C2s, which is not the hardest of the Pirelli range, and then we got the C3s for the mediums and the C4s for the soft compound of tyres as Morborak. I have to say from last week, Connor, Morborak had a point to prove after last week. He was leading for a little bit, but he did get a drive-through under the virtual safety car, which pretty much ruined his chances of winning. He is Mr. Pago, got promoted from F3 last season, and he's been looking very, very quick on this game, and F123 has pretty much improved the powered experience for powered players, which has probably helped Morborak in a way. So we'll see what he can do. Only in P10 right now, but hopefully he won't get any drive-throughs tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Morborak, he's an extremely quick driver, and well, that's the reason why Outplayed Racing have signed him. Definitely a lot of potential in Morborak, so we'll have to see what he can do. And yeah, like you mentioned, that update on this F123 game where the pad has been improved, so Morborak, one of the only top drivers who actually uses a controller, I'm sure he'll be very thankful for that, as that makes it a lot easier to save the car and also steer it, especially through this X section that he's going through. You can see how quick the change of direction is with the controller now. So it's really a big help to him and getting the racing line perfected and even closer to what the guys on racing wheels can do. So OP Morborak will be happy about that, but he won't be happy to see that he is currently down in P11 with the 32.6, about 8 tenths off of the provisional pole lap set by Kian. He's going to try to get himself a little bit closer now, and I'm sure he will be able to. I don't think that first lap was very representative of his pace, and you can see he's about to come out of the middle sector, so we're going to be able to see a split. Is he improving on his time? Yes, he is, and almost by 3 tenths of a second. So he's going to be trying to promote himself possibly into the top 5 here. So yeah, I think Morborak definitely has a lot of potential, a lot of pace on the controller as it is. And hopefully he can get a good lap time onto the board here, and like you said, has a point to prove, show that he can compete with the top guys, as he did. He made a couple of appearances in PSF1 last season, and definitely deserves those.
Was that not invalidation?
Yeah, that was very, very wide there from the last corner. I don't know how he's managed to keep that lap time valid, but because of, I'm not sure if it was because of that, but I'm sure that will gain him possibly a little bit of time. He's ended up gaining 7 tenths of a second. That's put him on the provisional front row, but yeah, that was a very big extension of the track limits at the final turn.
That was as well. We've got quite a few more drivers here as well. One driver to talk about as well. Will Murdoch recently was concentrating on the Olympic Esports Series on GT7. And we're very pleased to announce he ended up getting a silver medal as well for Great Britain. So on behalf of PSGL, massive congratulations on your achievements as well. We were cheering him on as well, even though it was quite early in the morning. It was based in Singapore, but he did a really, really brilliant job. And to be honest, he did a great job even to qualify for this event, because only one representative from each country could qualify, and obviously Will qualified from the UK, and he got silver, which was really, really good. So well done, Will. And now he can put his focus a little bit on the F123 game, but there will be some times where obviously he won't be as quick as he is on GT7, but to be honest, he's 9th at the moment, so that's pretty good going for him. It's hard to tell what team they're in at the moment, but because they're on F1 World Cars. But in the white and red car goes Will Murdoch, and he's invalidated his lap time. So there we go. So he comes into the pit. Quite a few people in McLarens and Red Bulls at the moment, as Devon goes up to the line in the Red Bull Miami car. Let's see what he could do. He goes up into 4th spot. And then we've got ETA Chris, who just comes into the pit lane. So with 6 minutes to go, only a few people improving on their lap times at the moment, but Stefano improved by a few attempts, slots himself into P5, Connell.
Yeah, good job from him to get himself into those top 5 positions. FVR Stefano, another one of those very talented drivers who is definitely going to be challenging for one of those top spots in one of the top divisions on the PlayStation platform. And you can see Darius Smith currently on a lap time. He's just caused a yellow flag there as he's gone off of the circuit. He still has not got a lap time onto the board. And like you mentioned, 6 minutes left to go in the session, and that is definitely not looking good for the FVR man. As without a single time set, he's basically only going to have one lap time in this session, and it looks like he's actually going to go for it now on this worn set of soft compound tires. So he is definitely one man who's struggling quite a bit in this session. Two men who aren't struggling in this session, the two Parnell Racing drivers of Kian and Max. They're doing such a brilliant job in this session in P1 and P2, and the two of them only separated by 2/100ths of a second. But they are not left without competition. OP Mubarak trailing by about 1/10 of a second, and Devin not too far behind either. He's only about 2/10ths away. So they've definitely got some competition to deal with. They're going to have to improve upon those times that they've set in the final few minutes of this session. But currently their pace is looking good enough to challenge for that pole position. We'll have to see if their times hold up though. Meanwhile, in the midfield, you can see it is quite close between a lot of the drivers. From Devin in P4, who set a 32 flat, all the way down to you can see NLR Rudy in P12. That P4 to P12 is only separated by 5/10ths of a second, so it's really not much in it in that midfield. So every single 100th of a second is going to count in these closing moments. But everyone in the pit lane awaiting the track evolution to better itself before they go out for those final lap times.
There's a few drivers that I haven't seen in PSGL in the pretty much top tier lobby, as it were, too, and with the fact that they're close enough to the times that Max and Kian are setting, it's pretty incredible. I think Max, Kian, Borat, Devon, they're pretty much the benchmark for the Kongan as well. So if they're near those lap times, then that could put them in very good stead of getting them a high division in PSGL this season. And I think pretty much the top 12 separated by a close margin too. But it is the calm before the storm. Not that long to go until the end of qualifying. And bearing in mind, it is short qualifying session. It's not like PCF1 where they have full qualifying. It is short qualifying. So whoever is the fastest at the end of 3 minutes will be getting themselves on pole position and will be putting themselves in the best position to win the race. And even though Kian sounded like he got from lights to flag last week, it wasn't made easy for him. He had to work for it. And I'm almost certain a lot of other people will be made to work for it too if they get into pole position. We've got 3 drivers that have not set, no, 2 drivers in fact that has not set lap times. And a quick reminder about our main sponsor, our title sponsor, GT Omega. You can get 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. And if you want to find out more information, you can use the code, the command in chat, GT Omega, not PSGL, GT Omega, there we go. And it's just coming up on your screen right now, so there we go. And I'm sitting on the chair now and it's very comfy, so make sure you check that out. So, the last few laps then, Borat will be the first one, just like he was at the earlier stage of qualifying, to set a lap time with his, I don't know what colour it is, it looks like it's a little bit of green to me, but it may, yeah, it is a little bit of a greeny blue kind of thing, which I kind of like, as Rudy is not going to finish a lap time. I think a few people will be coming in to the pits, but Borat heads towards this back straight. It is set to midday because if you set it to realistic time, the sun does blind you a lot and it's the evening, and I tried doing that on this game and it's an absolute nightmare. Past into 13 and 14. Treat it as one long right-hander, and then another long right-hander turns 15 and 16. Keep the car fully planted. heading towards this next part of the circuit, which reminds me of Istanbul as well. The place where Lance Stroll got his first pole position in the wet conditions, which was his only pole. And Mubarak goes up to the line. Is it going to be pole position? No, but it's not. It is P3, but with 45 seconds remaining, Connor. Still a lot to play for.
It definitely is. Mubarak not able to improve on that 31.9. Another man who's not able to improve is Max. I think his session is over. I don't think he's enough time to actually get across the line. No, he doesn't. So Max's session is now over, and it looks like Kian is the only man in the top 3 who's currently on a fast lap time. He is 13/1000ths of a second down coming out of the middle sector, so he's also struggling to improve. So it seems like a lot of the drivers who have set quicker lap times earlier on, they're not able to improve on them at this stage of the session. You can see FVR Stefano has retired in the first sector of the lap time. He spun off at the S section, so his session is over. His 32.1 will be the final time that he sets. As Kian coming through the final turn, he actually invalidates his lap time, so he's not able to improve. Let's see who else is on a lap. Devin in P4. His current time is a 32 flat. He's going to try to beat that, and even if he beats that by a couple of 100ths of a second, he could be boosting himself into P3. That's another retirement. This time it's Volakongan who has retired from the session. So his session is over. I think he's actually retired on circuit there. Enelar Gabriel has just gone to pole position with a 1 minute 31.7. And that seems to be out of nowhere there from the NLR driver. And he shot past absolutely everyone. A brilliant time from Gabriel there. And I'm sure the NLR team is going to be really happy with that lap. He's just beaten both of the Parnell Racing drivers to pole position. And I don't know if many other people are on a lap time. Ryder Dal invalidates and actually crashes out of the session. So it looks like it's going to be NLR Gabriel on pole position for tonight's Grand Prix.
We got Chake on a lap right now. He goes himself into 4th place. And that is it then for qualifying. So Gabriel, by about 1/10 of a second, is on a pole. And you're right. That team is going to be jumping for joy that their man has put themselves up into pole position. Maybe a trap thing, or who knows, he may be fast on this game. And that's very great to see. And we always like to see underdog stories of people that may have struggled on last year's game, but might have impressed on the new game as well, might have got used to handling a bit better. So, Gabriel on pole position, Max in P2, Kian in 3rd, Chake in 4th position, Mubarak 5th, Devon in 6th position. And then we've got Stefano, Volakonga, Riley, Lifebout in 10th. And we've got your own Ryder Dal. Good to see Ryder Dal back in this lobby as well. But he's in 12th position. He's got a point to prove in this lobby. Dal Smith 13th. Will Murdoch 14th. Then we've got Chris, Rudy and Ozin rounds up your 17 drivers here today. But before we go into the racing action, we will have a quick word from our title sponsor, GT Omega. Welcome back to PSGL Season 34, the social race for PlayStation in Austin, Texas. And we had a fantastic pole position from Gabriel by 1/10 of a second, beating out the 2 Parnell Racing guys as well. But we know how quick Matt and Kian can do. So will they be able to potentially beat him? Or will we see some other surprises? Will we see some underdogs from lower down in the grid make their way to near the top? And it is a she, not Odin. Okay, thank you very much, Ace, by the way, for putting it in the chat. We've got myself and Connor Moore taking you through the action throughout this evening's proceedings. And just a quick reminder as well about tie-ups. Oh, no formation lap. Okay, I thought that caught me off guard a little bit there. So we are underway here in Texas as Matt's got a very good start from Gabriel and King. Gabriel did not get a good start as we head towards turn number 7. I was expecting it to be a formation lap. That's why I had the scene for a very long time. But it did give me a long time to talk about the tyres a little bit. I think it caught a lot of other people off guard as well. But seems like everyone has got through A-OK as Chris and Lightbout trying to go up the inside of turn 9 and 10. We'll see if Chris could cover them off as well. Ryder Dow trying to fight it out with Will Murdoch as well as they go up the hill, heading towards turn 11. And don't forget, points mean nothing in this social race, but it means anything if they want a point to prove in PSGL as Morborak gets past Gable up into 3rd place. I was expecting it to be no formation up. I do apologise for getting caught off guard.
Yeah, but here we are in the race start, and you can see Enela Gabriel, that's not the race start he would have wanted. Started on pole position, falls down to P4, losing 3 positions. Although one man who has had a good start, it's OP Mubarak, moving up from 5th all the way to 3rd. So even though he couldn't improve on his final time in qualifying, he has still got it back in the race. And so have both of the Parnell Racing drivers. Currently P1 and P2 could be aiming to finish this way come the end of the Grand Prix. And I'm sure that is exactly what they're aiming for. And there you go. A virtual safety car has been released. Not actually too sure what that's been for. But nevertheless, it has been released. I don't see any retirements or any spinners. But you can see a couple of people are into pit lane. That's 3 people with front wing changes. Both of the ET8 drivers and NLR Rudy as well. So they've all come in for front wing changes. They've not had the best race start possible, but it's only lap 2 of 28. Plenty of time for a full cover safety car or incidents and pit stops that could help them later on in the Grand Prix. So they're going to hang in it for now and hopefully have a nice little battle together at the back of the field. But at the front, it's looking very, very good for Parnell Racing. FEI Stefano also gained quite a few positions, moving up into the top 5 as the safety car restart is now underway. And no one too close to each other to make a move into this next turn, though I could be wrong because we're seeing Riley McKay in P9 using the slipstream and the ERS to advantage. Is he going to pull to the inside line? Yes is the answer. He sends it into turn number 12. Volakongan tries to hold it around the outside, doesn't get given much room. He's going to have the inside though for this next turn number 13, really riding the curb here, trying to hold this position over Riley McKay, who's going to have the inside now for this left-hander, and it's crucial to get a good exit out of here, and that looks like exactly what Volakongan has done. He has held that position quite nicely. Riley McKay tries to fight back as he looks the outside line now for turn number 19. Volakongan still having to defend quite hard to hold this P8 position, but it looks like at the end of the day Volakongan does hold the position as Riley McKay gets hit from behind by FVR Jerome, who just carried a little bit too much speed, and Riley McKay now loses that position to Jerome after that little incident there. But some good battles there going on in the midfields. We're seeing Dara Smith send it on Riley McKay there, and Riley McKay really not catching a break as he gets shoved off of the circuit there by Dara Smith, and he's just gone from battling for P8 down to P12 after a slew of incidents. So a bit unlucky there for Riley McKay.
Yeah, he's dropped down a little bit, which is not ideal, but we do have a mixture of tyres, and we've seen even, I think last week, the ones on the medium started off strong, but it was the ones on the hard who really picked up the pace a little bit. But we did have some safety cars in many of the social races before. Haven't had one yet to spice things up a little bit. But we got Kian, who's trying to fire off his teammate Max down the inside in towards the DRS straight. And the camera is not giving it justice at the moment, so we'll go on board here as Kian takes the lead from Mac, and Morbarak stays in 3rd place. And with the DRS coming into effect this lap, this could really come into play for the guys chasing the leader down. But DRS trains here can become a bit of a nightmare sometimes, which is why some people don't like this circuit. But we know that it played a bit of a factor in the PC social races earlier on in the week, and also in PC F1 as well, which you could check out on Wednesday in the F1 World Cards. Technically, their season is going to start properly then as well, so we will keep our fingers crossed for that one as we head on to lap 4 of 28. And we see our first pit of Will Murdoch. So Will Murdoch has probably had a bit of an issue then. So he's going to come in from his medium tyres. Or maybe an early strategy call. He maybe be knowing something that we don't. So, and yeah, lost his front wing. So he's going to go on to the hard tyres. So that is a shame for him. But still a lot more that can happen as well. And tyre degradation seems to be more of a factor around this track compared to previous games.
Yeah, it definitely has. The tyre strategies at Texas, it's always crucial that you get it right, because if you get it wrong, like you mentioned, the DRS train is brutal. You don't want to be losing any positions at all, because if you do, you're really going to start drowning to all the drivers behind you who do have the DRS. And well, you can see why Gabriel has actually lost all the positions off of that race start, because he's on a hard compounded tyre, and because of this harder compounded tyre, he's now struggling to stay within the DRS range of OP Mubarak ahead of him. He has just gotten him the gap down to 0.7 of a second. So we slowly bring it in, but he really needs to stay within that 1 second, because the moment he loses that DRS is the opportunity that FVR Stefano is going to get to attack him and overtake him for that P4 position. So Enlar Gabriel pushing on nice and hard. He has saved himself a decent bit of ERS though, so he's managing his race quite well at this moment in time. Meanwhile, up ahead of him, OP Mubarak is going very aggressively, as you can see through turn 1, having a bit of a slide on the traction, and he's really trying to attack Max as much as possible. He wants to get into that P2 position. Second place in a DRS train is always the place where you want to be, because the driver ahead of you doesn't have the DRS, meanwhile you do. So that's why Max in quite an ideal position. He also gets to work together with his teammate. See a little bit further back, ET8 Lifebout and NLR Rudy battling it out, with Lifebout getting a nice switchback there. Coming out of turn number 1, he promotes himself into P14. Riley McKay and Dara Smith also battling it out. And you can see Dara Smith and Ushin have actually gone onto the soft compound of tyre for the race start. Hasn't really worked out for either of them, as FVR Stefano now does make the move on NLR Gabriel, who I think lost the DRS down that straight. So that's exactly what happens when you lose that DRS, and why it's so crucial, as Volokunkin's just been pushed off of the circuit by Jerome. He's now losing the position to TF10 Ryderdown as they go side by side through turn number 13. Ryderdown now has the inside line for this 15th turn. Volokunkin tries to hold it around this outside. Looks like he's got a decent exit, even on the hard combated tyre. He's going to hold the inside for this triple right-hander, and he defends the position. It's the exact same defense that he put up against Riley McKay, and it works again for him. So Volokunkin defending his positions quite nicely up against the drivers who are looking to attack from behind.
Yes, Ryderdown in a Max Verstappen livery, proving that he wants to climb as many positions as he possibly can. And he's going to go up the hill heading towards turn number 1. Can he set up the left-hand side, making a bit of contact as well? But he's going to try and do it with ease. Is it going to be the move of dreams for Ryderdown heading towards turns 3 and 4 towards the S's section? And Ryderdown keeps the place. He's loving life on those medium tyres, and is going up into P9, as we had someone, Ushin, who got a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunately, he's going to come into the pit, and he's going to be the second driver to join Will Murdoch on those hard compounded tyres. We've got Dara Smith that is out of the race, and we have got a safety car deployed. Now we're going to ride on board with Lifebout to see what happened, because it looked like a crash just after the end of the S's section. The car may disappear in dark. Oh, it was near the wall there as well, so he probably lost it on the curb potentially. But we got a safety car. For some people, it is too early to come in for a set to change tyres, but the hards couldn't last 21 laps, give or take. So we could see people on the mediums maybe come earlier, but they will lose their optimal pace quite late on in the race. So something to think about. But the ones on the hards right now, they may think about a two-stop, or they may have to stay out. But with the tyres being, I think, you usually present more wear on some of these tracks, it could be an issue. But pretty much everyone is coming in and being very, very brave. It is a social race, so if you want to be ambitious and try out strategies before the season starts, this is the place to do it. As Max is coming in and go onto the hard compounder tires, so it's going to help them. And a lot of people being very brave on the mediums. Now, will some people think that we could see another safety car potentially? I know there will be some people that will stay out. One person that stayed out, Connor, is someone that hit each other in the pits, is Volakongan. He has stayed out. He's the one who usually likes to be bold with strategies. Do you think he's done the right thing there?
Yeah, obviously he's seen that you can't really take the medium compound tires to the end of the race. So everyone who did start on the hards, they've decided, well, I'm going to go for a two-stop strategy here. I don't want to miss out on this free pit stop. I may as well go full send. But Volkungen, he's got the track position now. He is going to struggle a lot compared to the drivers behind on fresh tires. But he's only got one more stop to make, as do the guys who have come onto the medium compound tires. But meanwhile, the hard runners, they're in a perfect position currently. Those fresh hards will take them to the end of the Grand Prix. They've used their 2 dry set of compound of tires, so they've fulfilled that rule, and OP, Mubarak, Max and Kian are now able to cruise the end of the Grand Prix. But a safety car could ruin their strategies and might force them to come in for another pit stop. So Volakongan, he's gone for a risky strategy by staying out on the hard compound tire, but if it works, he'll look like an absolute genius. But his main task now, the defensive skills that we saw from earlier on, he's really going to have to show them off now as he defends from the 2 Parnell Racing drivers behind. And we're now just waiting for Will Murdoch to catch up to the safety car and a couple of others before it gets underway. So we'll be coming in at the end of lap number 8. So these drivers have a little bit of time to gather themselves, collect their thoughts, decide on what strategy they're going for and what approach they'll be taking to this safety car restart. And it's going to be an interesting dynamic because you have that small group of medium runners who are going to be driving aggressively and at full pace, and then you have the 4 hard runners at the front of the field. They're just going to be defending for their lives. So be interesting to see how the safety car restart resolves itself, but I think we're about to see a lot of battling in the coming laps.
Yes, plenty of battles still to happen, so make sure you stay tuned. And if you're liking the content that you are seeing so far, don't forget to leave us a like on the channel and subscribe as well. Quite a lot of you, according to our analytics, when you view the videos, it says you haven't subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed, please do it. That would really help the channel. We are on, by the way, we were before the start of season 34 of PCF1, we were on 28k subscribers. We're on 34.2k subs now. So thank you very much to those of you that support the channel. But it would be amazing if we can get more people to do it. So if you haven't already, please do. Like this video as well. And there's also a notification bell that you can click on. So for every video that we put up, whether it's a stream or if it's a video, like a highlights video from PCF1, for example, you will get notified. And more people will get recommended to this stream, which is what we would like to see as well. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PremierSimGL. Also follow us on our Instagram as well, same handle. And there's also our website and Discord too. And don't forget our title sponsor, GT Omega. You can get 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. And you can use the command at !GT Omega in the chat should you wish to use the code and find out more information. And the safety car, Connor, is in this lap, and Volakongan is going to be the one that is going to be controlling the pace.
Yeah, he will be getting us underway for this safety car restart. And on 7 lap old hards, he is going to struggle to get away quickly and catch everyone out. He's slowing the field down nice and slowly, allowing the safety car to make its way back to the pit lane. before he gets himself ready for the safety car restart. He's got two parallel racing drivers who are going to be working together to get past him as quickly as possible, so he's got a lot of pressure from behind. Let's see how he handles it as he heads through turn number 19. The safety car is in the pit lane, and he is now gone for a safety car restart. He's gotten a decent jump on Kian there. He's extended that gap to about 0.2 of a second, though, because Kian gains it all back on the exit of the final turn. He's actually going to go for the move coming into turn number 1. A little bit of contact between the two, but Kian makes a nice and easy move on the inside line. He's promoted himself up into P1, and like Gabriel on the medium compound tire has done a similar maneuver into the first turn. He's promoting himself into P4 with Mubarak losing the position to the NLR man. Meanwhile, we're seeing Max very, very tight to the back of Volakunken as they head through the middle sector of the lap time. He wants to get past as quickly as possible, and this could be the place where he does it. Maybe looking for a move into turn number 11. He's using his ERS. He's diving to the inside line now of Volakunken, who's trying his best to defend around the outside line, but he just turns in to the racing line. He doesn't want to lose more positions than he has to, but it looks like he might, because NLR Gabriel on the medium compound tire trying to make the pass on the straight. Volakunken has the advantage of the slipstream from Max ahead of him, and that's given him the extra top speed, but Gabriel putting the medium compound tire to good use. He dives the inside and completes the move on Volakunken to promote himself into third place. Now Devin is going for the move on Volakunken, and Volakunken is drowning in the sea of drivers behind him. OP Mubarak is on the outside line of turn number 15, and he has just promoted himself into P5, and in the matter of just one sector, he's lost another position. In the matter of just one sector, or two sectors, I should say, Volakunken has dropped down from P1 to P7. So those 8-lap-old hard compound tires not serving him as well as he maybe would have thought they would.
Battles galore at PSGL, and this is what we like to see as we got, I believe it's Stefano and Morbora trying to fight for position. The Mias are really helping at the moment, bearing in mind these Mias won't last the entire race, so they will have to think different strategies. So Morbora may learn to be a little bit patient here in these opening few moments of this restart, and then later on those hard tires will come back to him very nicely. Same with the likes of Kian and Max, where they're P1 and 2 right now. Volakonga, by the way, dropped down into 8th place, but who knows, there could be another safety car as your own trying to go past up the inside of Volakonga, which he does, up into 8th position. Few penalties being applied with Riley. We also got Will Murdoch and Chris getting time penalties too, but we've got a battle for P2 as Gabriel tries to go down the inside of Max, which he does, and he's up into second place, and he's not that far behind Kian on those hards. Kian and Gabriel, the tyre difference could play a massive factor in this part of the race, as we can also see Devin trying to go up the inside of Max, who is also Max is also on those hard tyres. Bearing in mind, it's a 5/10 difference between those mediums and hard tyres right now, with being similar tyre wear. So that is why the mediums are loving life at the moment and the hards are not. But again, the likes of Kian, Max, and Morborak will probably be patient now and then push as soon as the mediums start to lose his wear.
Yeah, and the medium compound tire, the hard runners have absolutely no hope of defending from them as Max loses another position. This time it's to FR Stefano, who promotes himself into the top 4. And you can see the medium runners already have 3 drivers into the top 4 positions, and now the only hard runner ahead of them is Kian, who leads this Grand Prix ahead of NLR Gabriel. Although NLR Gabriel is catching and at quite a quick rate. So he's doing a brilliant job. He's found so much pace. I mean, especially compared to the last game, Gabriel's obviously been working very hard to improve his pace on this new game, and it seems to have paid off. He's now battling for the lead in this PSGL social race against one of the fastest drivers on the platform last season. So brilliant job from NLR Gabriel. The only problem with his strategy is he's got one more stop to make. Meanwhile, Kian and Max and Mubarak are going to the very end of the Grand Prix. So that's the one aspect of Gabriel's strategy that he is going to struggle with later on. So he is a pit stop down. But we'll have to see if there's another safety car, or if there's pit stop complications that could help him out. And if Cian has to come in for another stop, that will put Gabriel in a very, very nice position for the end of the Grand Prix. You can see a couple of drivers starting to get time penalties in this Grand Prix. Track limits are quite pesky around this circuit. You can really extend those track limits and not even realize that you're doing it in the process, and that will lead to the 3-second time penalties. Currently a couple of drivers have them.
Contact between Jeroen and Mulborak heading towards turn number 1 there. I think Mulborak may have been a bit hard done by, but I think Mulborak is going to try and bite him on track and say, you know what, I'm quick, I'm going to try and get past you. Mulborak's got to be patient, as I was saying earlier on, but there was almost a bit of a disaster from those two drivers, but however, we're on lap 12 of 28. Anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does as the gaps start to settle down a little bit for some of these drivers as we head towards the detection point. Who is the closest so far? Stefano looking to try and get past Devon for a spot on the podium. Can he do it with his lovely livery? You can see Devon is trying to make sure he saves a bit of ERS. Gabriel, by the way, gets past Cian up into the lead of this race, so he's got to try and pull the gap that he needs. So if he has to pit again, then the gap will be quite gunful, because who knows, the hard tyres may start to wear out a bit as well, and Gabriel should have a set of mediums left anyway for the end of this race. I think a lot of people will have 2 sets of mediums if they pit balanced, and if not, they could be in a bit of trouble, because otherwise they may have to use a set of softs. Some people did go for a set of softs at the start of the race, but obviously with the safety car that changed things quite slightly with their strategy, but at least they would have 2 sets of mediums left should they wish to use it as well. So we're pretty much halfway race distance almost in a couple of laps time. Gabriel leads, Cian in second, Devon in third, Stefano fourth, Max in at 5th spot, Jeroen in 6th, Mulborak in 7th position, and Ryder having a very good race up into P8, the fourth driver on those hard compounded tyres. And Lifebout, he comes in into the pit lane on a set of medium tyres. I'm just trying to remember, is it roughly the time he would come in for the mediums anyway? A few laps earlier than expected, so I think he should be fine to get it to the end. His medium tyres won't be too bad compared to obviously the ones who are on the mediums now, as Chris gets a 3-second time penalty. Anyone else is close enough to go for the mid. We'll keep an eye on Cian once again as he tries to go for a massive move on Gabriel, but to no avail right now. But he's closed right up on Gabriel, so maybe going towards turn number 1, he could sense an opportunity to take the lead once more. He did it in Bahrain when he was fighting with Max and a few other drivers. Can he do it again to prove himself that he could be a championship contender in PSF1?
Definitely could, but he's got some work to do at this stage. And yeah, like you mentioned, with the strategy, it's going to begin to get interesting. Will Murdoch, like you mentioned, came in there, or no, not Will Murdoch, sorry, Lifebout came in there for the medium compound tires. You can see ETA Chris has just gone off of the circuit there, down in P15, struggling a little bit in this Grand Prix, as him and a couple of others are doing. And I actually saw from Ushin, he did mention that the soft compound tires were a bit of a painful experience, so we'll have to see if anyone goes onto the softs, so they might avoid it, as ETA Chris comes into the pit lane and retires from the session today. Knock on his way, and since it's a social race, just deciding it's not worth continuing on, so he is now out of the session, the second retirement so far, and he was after Dara Smith. But the race at the front continues on as the drivers are trying to battle it out with each other. Cian has done a brilliant job at holding on with his hard compounded tires. He stayed the furthest ahead of all the hard runners, currently 3 positions ahead of his teammate and fending off from Devon behind. He's actually looking to launch an attack on NLR Gabriel ahead, and he makes a nice and easy pass down the back straight, promotes himself into the lead of the Grand Prix once again. We're on 7 laps of wear for these tires, and that is, there's going to be a crossover point soon enough in the next couple of laps where the hard compound tire will actually be faster then the medium compound tire, and when it gets to that point, Keane is going to have a lot easier time defending from the drivers behind. Currently, I think the medium still have a decent bit of grip left, but you can see from that overtake that Keane has just made, it's definitely starting to swing his way now. So medium runners beginning to lose grip. You can also see it in the form of Max, who's very close to the back of Stefano ahead of him. But everyone taking it quite calm at this mid-stage in the race. We've just passed lap 14, the halfway point of this Grand Prix. So we've still got 14 to go, even though we've had so much racing action already. There's 50% more to come. So we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, the hard compound, it's looking like they are starting to come alive now, and that's going to be very good for them. So we'll have to see, what are the medium runners going to decide? Are they going to try to stretch the end of the Grand Prix, even though it seems quite likely that they will, because they will probably be in puncture territory? Or are they going to come in for the two-stop and go to another set of medium tires, which seems a bit more likely? But whatever happens, it's going to be an interesting next couple of laps in this Grand Prix.
Yeah, and to be honest, Connor, I can't wait to see it, and I'm sure everyone in the chat will be looking forward to it too. And Baseball Kids has said, is anyone allowed to race in this? Interesting bat, actually. Sign-ups for PSGL are still open. If you want to sign up, check out our Discord and our channels where you can sign up for Season 34. The race you're seeing right now is social race, so a few of the drivers that were in the top tiers last season were invited to. But if you want to sign up for this season, make sure you join our Discord. Sign-ups are open until tomorrow, so don't leave it too late to get your sign-up things, otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And then evaluation races that you've got to do in time trial, they will close on Wednesday. So you have until Tuesday to sign up, and then you have up until Wednesday to complete the races. End of story. So if you have any questions, make sure you do leave it out on the Discord. That will be amazing. And who knows, we could be commentating on you next season. And Monday is no assist tiers on the PlayStation, as Riley is having a battle with Jake up into 9th spot. How we got Rudy and Jake trying to go for a move, as Rudy is up into 10th spot. And just as I was saying, no assist for the Monday PS tier. So if you want to get into the top PS division, you have to run no assist. And then we got assist tiers for PlayStation on Thursdays. No PS division on Sundays, unfortunately. We scrapped that this year. And Thursdays, PC, no assists completely. So if you want to run on PC, you have to turn off all the assists, because obviously PC is a lot more competitive and a lot of PC guys go into F1 esports. So that's why we've done that, because PSGL is a great competitive ground for that. And I think with the ERS being quite prominent now, they got to start saving, as Rudy stayed in 9th spot. You can see a little bit of their temperatures in the cockpit view as well, to see what they have to deal with in the car. And a lot of people are in the 20% range of battery, so they don't have that much use. I've noticed when I was doing some ranked around here a while back, or some F1 World races, that it used up quite a bit of the ERS very, very quickly too. So we'll keep an eye out on that, as Keane still leads from Gable in 2nd place. And I think the mediums are starting to die a bit. We got a retirement safety car. My Connell, did we say we could get some drama?
We definitely did, and it has arrived at the perfect time for the medium compound tire runners. They have now the perfect opportunity to slide themselves into the pit lane for another set of medium compound tires. I mean, NLR Gabriel, Devin, and FVR Stefano, they could not have asked for any more in this Grand Prix, and definitely a bit of luck involved in that, but they won't be complaining one bit, because now they are going to come in for the medium compound tires. You have to assume that the two Parnell Racing drivers are going to take a similar approach and box for some fresh mediums if they have any left over, which I think they should have, depending on which tire selection they've gone for. But yes, I do think they will be coming in for the mediums, because if they don't, well, they'll be in a similar situation to what Volakongen was in. a few laps to go. So pretty much everyone is now going to come into pit lane for some fresh mediums, which means we're going to have a straight shootout with a no tire difference, no ERS difference. Everyone gets back to 100% ERS, no tire problems at all. And we are just going to have a straight shootout for 10 laps of racing. And hopefully that is going to provide us with even more racing action, because this is the stage of the Grand Prix where the drivers are at their most aggressive. They know that their final stint is approaching. They know this is where you make up the positions, and this is where you're going to win or lose this Grand Prix in the case of Kian and Gabriel. And also Max is going to try to get himself back into that battle, but everyone now coming in for the medium compounded tires, all the medium runners and the hard runners. But yeah, it was a great play there from the people who started on the hards to box for the mediums at the first safety car, and they've struck gold with this second safety car. So very lucky for them. You can see a couple of people actually getting held up in the pit lane because obviously you don't know who your teammates are, so you can get held up randomly if you don't know who's ahead of you, who might also box and share the same pit box as you. And one of those people who did get held up was S34, so because of that he has lost a few positions. But you can see we're seeing some very mixed strategies here in the field. Some drivers have gone for the soft compounded tires. Those include Kian, Gabriel, Max, and Ryder down, and also Riley McKay down in P9. So that's 5 drivers who have opted for the soft compounded tire, and it's going to be a bit of a stretch to stretch those 10 laps. We saw, I think it was Oshin and one other, and Darius Smith, who started on the softs. You can see Darius Smith crashed out after just 5 laps on the soft compounded tires, and now these guys are going to try to take the softs for 10 laps. So how do you see that playing out for these guys who've opted for the soft compounded tire?
Well, it's quite a tough decision to be on, because ultimately they would lose a bit of pace after 7 laps of being on them, and we have more than 7 laps to go. We would have 10 laps to go of the race, I think, when the safety car comes in, because everybody has caught up to the safety car now. And ideally in game you can take the soft to lap 12 if you want to, 12 laps, so it is doable. But we have to say that the medium compounded tires will be the most durable, so I am intrigued. I like the mixture of strategies. I like that the softs definitely come into play on this game with a bit more of an operating window, but they got to keep an eye on how much tyre wear the softs use per lap, as well as getting those tyres up to temperature as quickly as they possibly can. I just need to double check, will the safety car come in this lap, or will we have to wait one more lap of doing so? I think it will be one more lap, unless the safety car comes a bit later. Yep, safety car will stay out another lap. That's a bit surprising, because I thought that people would do something else. Oh, Jerome comes in. So I think we're seeing, a few people realise, hang on, a lot of people gone on to softs, so I'm going to go on to softs too. Or did they make contact? Now, I know Jerome is going to be serving his 5-second stop go, so that's why he's coming. And he's going to go on to a set of the softs. I think, yeah, a lot of people are going to serve their 5-second stop go, so understandable. But it is game on for everybody. Even playing field for a lot of these guys. Soft tyres versus medium tyres. I would like you to tell us your thoughts in the chat on who you think is going to win this one. Is it going to be Kian? Is it going to be Gabriel? Is it going to be Devon, Max? Pretty much anyone is in a position to win. Let us know. And I've just seen in the chat actually about predictions. Softs on the track, very bold, says Polani. Yeah, I think it's quite bold as well, but I like bold strategies, and I'll be interested to see how these bold strategies play out.
Definitely will be indeed, and I think the medium runners are going to be in the best position, although I'm glad to see if Kian and Gabriel can prove me wrong. But just seems like those softs did not work at all for Dara and Oshin. Obviously, like I mentioned, Dara 5 laps on those softs and he was out of the Grand Prix. I think Oshin boxed after about 6 or 7 laps. So We'll have to see. Maybe these drivers are better with the soft compound tires. Maybe they'll be worse, and maybe the tire wear is going to get to them. But the lead soft compound tire runner is Cian, and the lead medium runner is Devin. So Devin is in a great position if the softs don't work out, because the man behind him who's on mediums is OP Mubarak, and OP Mubarak finds himself with 3 seconds of time penalties, and then behind him it's all the way down in P7. It's FVR Stefano. So only really 3 medium runners, and one of them has a time penalty. So we'll have to see how the mediums do relative to the softs. Meanwhile, we're watching Cian on the safety car restart, slowing down the field and allowing the safety car to get itself back into the pit lane before he gets underway for this restart. He needs to make sure that he gets a good one, try to pull away from Gabriel at this restart, so that Gabriel doesn't have any advantages of DRS and can't really launch an attack later on. But you can see Cian really slowing it down. The safety car is now back into the pit lane, so Cian free to go whenever he pleases. And as soon as he does, the green flags will be running. NLR Gabriel sticking behind him. And it looks like the time to go is now. And Gabriel has not been caught out one bit by this safety car restart. He's still very close to the back of Cian. So good prediction there from Gabriel to keep up with the back of Cian. Meanwhile, we're seeing Max on the back of Devin. Is he close enough to go for a move? He's going to try to send it to the inside line. He's gone for a very tight line there. Contact between the two drivers there. And Devin holds the position, but not without hitting the side of Max there. Hopefully he doesn't have any wing damage because of that, although they have lost a little bit of time now to the top 2. Max gets 3 seconds of time penalties for extending the track limits, and that is going to find itself to be quite costly come the end of the Grand Prix. He'll losing quite a few positions, so not ideal for Max to get that 3-second time penalty. He's in the same boat as Mubarak. He's now looking to the inside once again. He's sending it on Devin, and that's the second time in a row where he's tried to send it, but this time it works out because he gets the better exit out of the turn with the advantage of the soft compound tires, and finally gets himself into 3rd position. And he might even look for a second move on NLR Gabriel. Has a think about sending one, but he does decide against it. You can see battling in the midfield, Will Murdoch battling it out with Oshin at turn number 11, and he gets himself into P11. But already we're seeing plenty of action, and the top 3 is now fully occupied by soft compound tire runners.
Yeah, they are looking good for now, but will they look good at the end of this one, as Lifebout has had a bit of a spinner coming towards, I think, turn 14 and 15, and he's hit the wall, and he's reset the track as well, which is not ideal. Mubarak has left the session, which is not ideal, so hopefully he'll be able to rejoin very, very soon, as Cian has got a 6/10 gap over Gabriel right now, but for how much longer as well, and a bit longer than that for Gabriel and Devin due to Max's 3-second time penalty. Is Riley McKay trying to get past the stricken Mubarak, who is ghosted, and Lifebout unfortunately has decided to call it a day. So unfortunately for him, that is his race done and dusted. It's a shame, obviously, that certain drivers choose to give up like that, but hopefully they could learn to carry on in the future and be able to improve just a little bit more, as we are about to see Gabriel close the gap by 5/10. DRS will be activated very, very soon, and that's where we start to see the real battles take place too. And this is really about pride here in PSGL. No championships yet. And just a quick reminder, the 17th of July will be the first round of the PSGL PS Championship on Mondays on PlayStation. So make sure you stay tuned in for that one. It's going to be very entertaining, to say the least. I'm, of course, very, very excited, and I'm sure, obviously, Moore is very excited as well in the commentary box as well. I still haven't decided comms placements yet. I still got to sort those out in the next few days. But another story for another day. Riley just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:34.9. Oh, someone's gone off. That's Ryder down. He's out of the race. He's hit the wall. He lost his braking point, it looks like, so it must be something to do with his wheel. And Connor, we have got another safety car.
There you go. It's the third of the Grand Prix, and Ryderdal going straight on at turn number 1. Very lucky that he didn't hit anyone, but that must have been a wheel disconnect. Just didn't brake or turn at all, and that very, very thankful that he didn't hit anyone. So he is out of the session. That's the 5th retirement of the session now, and another safety car release. So how will this affect the strategy? Are the soft compound tire runners going to box? I don't think they will. I think they're going to attempt to stay out on the softs now. And someone actually saying in the chat there that the softs can easily make it to the end of the Grand Prix, so maybe the struggles that the drivers were having earlier on with the softs were just for their personal preference, and they didn't really suit with those soft compound tires, as it seems currently Kian, Gabriel, they're doing quite nicely on the soft compound of tire, holding their positions. Max, on the other hand, he did get that 3-second time penalty, so he's struggling a little bit more. Riley McKay finds himself in the top 5 now, along with FVR Stefano in P6. And obviously, Max and Riley both have time penalties, so that will promote Stefano if everything stays as it currently is. So Stefano technically in a net P4, and Devin on a net podium. So good stuff from both of those guys. And you can see people are actually coming into the pit lane, as Devin and Stefano are the 2 to box. They're on the medium compound tire. They're coming in. They're sacrificing their track position for the soft compound of tires. So they've now got the freshest softs out of all the field, and clearly their thinking is, well, if we have completely fresh soft compound tires and everyone is either on worn mediums or worn softs, we're just going to absolutely fly through the field. Whether or not that is going to be the case, we're about to find out in a couple laps time, but very risky stuff indeed, especially from 2 drivers who didn't have any time penalties. You can see now 4 drivers in the top 6 have time penalties, so Stefano and Devin were in good positions. They've sacrificed that now in an attempt to go for a risky strategy, and to be fair to them, this is a social race. They want to have a little bit of fun. They want to have a little bit of battling, practice their racecraft, practice their pace, and that is exactly what they are going to do. So hopefully they provide us with some good action. They find themselves in P10 and P11, and they've got to work their way up onto the podium positions, and hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult with all those time penalties in the field. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix is now going to be between Gabriel and Kian, and that is going to be quite an exciting battle. They're both on soft compound tires. They've got equal amount of tire, where they both got equal amounts of ERS, and the DRS is only going to be enabled for the final 3 laps of the Grand Prix. So it's going to be quite an exciting race for the win in this Grand Prix, and hopefully Gabriel and Kian can put on a show, along with Devin and Stefano too. So plenty of talking points for the final 5 laps of this Grand Prix. Let's hope that this social race ends in a spectacular fashion.
Well, we saw it come down to the wire last week in Bahrain by just 4,000 of a second. We may not get something similar this week, but who knows? Who knows? And Kian will be the one controlling everything on this restart in probably a lap's time or 2 laps time, depending on how long your own can catch up to the safety car. This is our 3rd safety car, I believe, as we have a few people diving in to the pit lane. More Borak comes in to the pit lane, so he's going to go over the softs. I'm a bit shocked to see Rudy staying out. I thought he would have gone to the softs as well, and with only a few people on those medium tyres, there could be a danger of them being under threat from all the soft runners that have the fresher rubber. So who will win, the one that has the fresher rubber, or the ones where the tyres are starting to get less than optimal? And Palani saying it's too late to pit, and Christian saying FER master plan. Well, we've still got Stefano and Jerome. They both pitted for the soft tyres. Who knows, could they climb their way up the field? Remains to be seen, as Jerome is almost there to the back of the safety car. So safety car should be in this lap, and then we will be under green flag racing very, very soon. This should be the last safety car that we will see.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a final shootout till the end of the Grand Prix now. No pit constrictions, no more safety cars, because there's only 4 laps left, so the safety car isn't actually able to come out in that amount of time. So it's just the drivers and their pace and their racecraft, and that should hopefully lead to an exciting end to this Grand Prix. You can see OP Mubarak, thankfully, was able to get himself back into the session. He's now on a similar strategy to Devin and FVR Stefano. He's just going to be going full send for the final laps of this Grand Prix. And FVR Jerome at the back of the field is also on fresh softs. The lads on mediums, Oshin, Volakongan and Rudy, they're going to struggle immensely on the safety car restart and probably fall all the way down the order. But we'll have to see how they approach this safety car restart. One man who is taking a certain approach is Kian, slowing right down as he comes out of turn number 15 using first gear as he allows the safety car to come back into the pit lane. Looks like he's really slowing everyone down, not allowing anyone to get the heat into the tires, so people are going to have to struggle with the cold tires on the restart. That's going to hurt their traction and their braking and just their overall grip through the turns. But you can see Kian really slowing it down. Safety car is into the pit lane and Kian free to go when he pleases. He's coming through turn number 19. Is he going to go in a similar position to where he went last time? Gabriel had him covered on the previous safety car restart. This time Kian gets a decent one relative to NLR Gabriel, but out of the final turn, Gabriel gets a good exit. He's nice and close to the back of Kian. Doesn't look like he'll be able to go for a move as he's not using any ERS, but he is in a good position. One man who is in a good position as well is Will Murdoch, who looks the outside line at turn number 1. It's going to be on NLR Rudy, the medium compound tire runner that's battling. In the background, that's a Red Bull who's gone off there. That's Devin, who's broken his front wing. And that was in an incident with Oshin, I think it was. So Devin has just lost his front wing, and that is going to be his Grand Prix over. So it doesn't look like the soft compound tire strategy has worked out for him. A shame to see. FVR Stefano, though, is continuing on with his Grand Prix. He's currently in P8 ahead of Devin now, and that's a shame to see for Devin to get caught up in an incident like that. OP Mubarak sends one on FVR Stefano and just clatters into the side of him, goes off of the circuit because of that incident, and OP Mubarak driving a little bit too aggressively there. He's off of the circuit. One man is going for a move. It's Max coming into turn number 12. He's got the inside line on NLR Gabriel, squeezes him off the circuit completely, not leaving him any room, and NLR Gabriel about to return the favor as he slides through turn number 13, and now Max is going to have the inside for turn number 15. How is Gabriel going to react? He's going to go for the switchback maneuver. He gets a lovely exit relative to Max, but he has the outside line for this triple right-hander. So hard to hold the position on this outside line, and Max gets the move done on the NLR man. Very aggressive there from Max and a little bit unfair at that 12th turn, but now they've lost 2 seconds to Kian, and Kian, who sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, is going to begin to run away with this race.
Well, I have to say, Gabriel definitely putting his foot into this battle for the win. And Riley's in there as well. Riley, the top 4, are still within a shot. Rudy struggling on those mediums, but you never know. Those mediums could be a great opportunity for him to make some great overtakes at the end of it. DRS will be activated soon. Who's going to win this one? Let us know in the chat. We would like to know who your favourite driver is and who you are rooting for the United States Grand Prix, one of 3 Grand Prix being held in the US. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the Las Vegas circuit in real life comes into effect as well. As Mubarak, unfortunately, it's out this one, so redemption race for him is no more. And I think the closest battle we can see is between Riley McKay and Gabriel. So Riley doing a big job to come back for this one. Those are your positions gained. Rudy, who's gained the most, by the way, up 11. Will Murdoch's up 8, but bearing in mind penalties can come into play. And we have got lots of other people as well that gained quite a bit. Gabriel, don't forget, started a pole position. He's dropped 2 positions. But I'm sure there's a way where you can climb positions as well. DRS enabled then. DRS enabled for the drivers. This is game on for all drivers involved. Max has got a chance, but he's pretty much, he's out of DRS range. So this is Gabriel's time to launch the attack on Max.
It definitely is indeed. You can see Max has actually pushed hard enough to get himself into the DRS of Kian, so that's crucial from Max. He's now got that line of defense. That rear wing flap is going to open on the back straights, and that will make it a lot easier to defend from Gabriel behind. Parnell Racing might not get the 1-2 that they want at the end of the race, but they are definitely going to try to get it on circuit, and there Gabriel is going to have a difficult time to keep up with these guys. You can see FVR Stefano went for the risky strategy of completely throwing away his track position for a fresh set of soft compound tires. It's not worked out one bit. He's still in P8 2 laps later. He's not gained a single position, but you can see up ahead of him there are a few people gaining positions. That's Will Murdoch, who has gone off of the circuit. He's now losing out to Volakongen. Rudy is battling with Riley McKay. Riley McKay holds his P4 position, but Volakongen has gotten past Will Murdoch, who's now being overtaken by FVR Jerome. Riley McKay sent by NLR Rudy, who now has the inside line for this triple right-hander. NLR Rudy and Riley McKay really going at it. Riley McKay is going to hold it around the outside of the triple right-hander, and he's held that P4 position beautifully. Great defense there from Riley McKay to hold that P4. Volakongen promotes himself into P6, and ahead of Will Murdoch on the medium compound tires is Volakongen. So is NLR Rudy, and he's making a move on Riley McKay, and Riley McKay is now losing a position to Volakongen. Both of the medium runners cutting through the soft compound tires, and doing it very nicely too. So the mediums are obviously quicker than the softs at this stage of the Grand Prix, and now it's a battle between Rudy and Volakongen for P4, but Rudy has a time penalty, so Volakongen looking to finish in a very nice P4 as it stands. NLR Gabriel a little bit further up is still holding on to the DRS of Max and holding on to what will be a P2 after the penalties are applied, but Kian has done brilliant a job this race as Riley McKay is now losing another position. This time it's to Will Murdoch, and another to FVR Stefano, and another to FVR Jerome, and Riley McKay has just lost every position that he once had. Volakongen dives the inside of NLR Rudy. Will Murdoch to the inside of FVR Stefano. He's defending this P6. Stefano, though, will have the inside for turn number 13. He tries to get the move done on Will Murdoch. He's almost got it done. They're still going to be side by side through turn number 15. Will Murdoch with the inside. FVR Jerome just sent it on the two of them. They're three wide out of the turn, but FVR Stefano has gotten up into that P6. FVR Jerome in P7, but it's all eyes on Kian, who's about to come through the final turn. He has done so brilliant this Grand Prix. He has led almost every lap, and he comes across the line to win the American Grand Prix, closely followed by NLR Gabriel, who gets a podium in this PSGL social race. Brilliant to see from Gabriel, who's obviously improved a lot since F1 22, and Max rounds out the podium positions, just about beating Volakongen by 1.5 tenths. What an end to this American Grand Prix, and such a fantastic social race to watch. I hope you all enjoyed that one, because wow, what an end, and what a podium too.
Well, to be honest, I've enjoyed that quite a lot, especially towards the end there, and Kian definitely proving his worth, Volakongen proving his worth too, and it's just, I mean, Kota always delivers. It always does. I think I'm kind of glad we saw no rain, because apparently there was issues with the rain in the first social race that happened earlier on today. So thank goodness we had nothing like that to worry about. But here we go then. The man from Parnell Racing delivers once again and is on top of the pile. Will he be a force to be reckoned with in this championship when the championship starts on July 17th in a few weeks' time? Or will we see other drivers take the fray? Will we see drivers that, you know, weren't in the running for PSGL, PSF1, but after tonight may have shown their worth, potentially? Gabriel with a really great performance, but we'll run for your order then. So Kian wins from Gabriel, Max, so we've got Volakongen, Jerome, Stefano, Rudy, Will Murdoch, Riley McKay, and how do I pronounce his name again? I need to get it up. not letting me. We've seen in 10th, we've got Devon, Moborak, Ryder Doubt, Light Bout, and then we've had a few DNFs to boot as well. 5 DNFers happened to a few of our drivers, which is a bit of a shame, but great race, well driven from Kian there. But who is your driver of the day?
I had to give one of these drivers driver of the day. I mean, it has to be Kian. He qualified P3, he manages to get the fast lap of the Grand Prix. He slowed down to give his teammate DRS so that he could secure second position on circuit. And Kian, such a brilliant job. He led almost every lap of the Grand Prix, did everything that he needed to do, and winning the Grand Prix. Although we have to give a shout out to Oshin, who finished P10, seems to be a bit of a fan favorite in the chat, and manages to get P10 and a singular point, so good job to him. But my driver of the day definitely has to go to Kian. But if you had to pick one, I'm sure there's many options to choose from. Who would you have to pick?
Well, I have to give it to Gabriel because I wasn't expecting him to be up there. It's always tough to go against drivers that been in PSGL F1 for either a season or even 2 seasons. And with Gabriel delivering like he did, I think he could be a sign of a driver to watch in the future. And we always like to see the driver with the most improvement come up in games as well, and drivers that you least expect go into PSF1 and deliver. And that's what Gabriel delivered tonight, and great job from him, and great job to all the drivers who came in and drove this social race as well. I believe we will have one more next week. We will need to double check on that one. Probably not, because we will have, I believe, the placements by then, but it does depend on how long it takes for the placements to be decided. So thank you very much to everybody who has joined us for tonight's social races. We've got 2 more social races coming up on the PC side on Thursday, so make sure you check those out. And of course, we've got PCF1 on Wednesday with George Morgan and Jack Canan taking you through the action. And then our season begins from the PS side of No Assist on the 17th of July. I'm trying to remember what track we start in. It might be Brazil, actually, is the first track. If I check announcements, it'll probably tell me what track it is. Yes, it is Brazil. I didn't even need to look it up. That's what I was going to do. We're starting with Brazil, then Las Vegas as well. So 2 great tracks. More tracks to be revealed soon. Donald, good for you to join me. Great to have you back commentating for PSGL. Hopefully that's warmed you up for season 34 in whatever tier that you commentate on.
Yeah, it definitely has. It was a brilliant race, and definitely took a toll as my first commentary back, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We love a good bit of action in PSGL.
Yes, indeed. A final quick word from our sponsors. Make sure you check out our giveaway from Chill Blast, where you can win a Chill Blast Champions Gaming PC with an AMD Ryzen 5 and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 with 32 gigs of RAM and 2 terabytes of SSD. Check out the PSGL Twitter account at PremierSimGL for more information, and make sure you follow Chill Blast on Twitter as well. Massive shout out to them for being our new sponsors as well, which was announced today at 5 PM UK time. And also make sure you check out our sponsor GT Omega, where you could get 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. And one of the products you can get is this lovely GT Omega chair. Very, very comfy. And look at this. It reclines. It's absolutely beautiful. There we go. Got there in the end. And you can just sit back, relax, enjoy some league racing, have a bit of fun. There's also some nice cockpits that GT Omega does as well. So if you use the code PSGL at checkout to get 5% off, GT Omega will have all the products for you. So thank you very much. We'll play the video in a minute. Once again, thank you to Connor Moore for joining me. Thanks to everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell if you're new, hit that like button and all that. Follow us on Twitter at PremierSimGL. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Have a good evening. We will see you next time for some more PSGL action. But until then, take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.
on the left-hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.